Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Any Given Sunday on this YouTube channel, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Thank you for joining me tonight. And if you haven't, as always, at the beginning of these things, I ask you to please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and let's get to it. Let's get to it. I try to do these episodes by quotes, and the quote I'm going to use tonight is "Facts are stubborn things." And having to uh, be factual in a world full of opinions, and I'm going to open this panel up to anyone that wants to come up and have a sensible conversation tonight. So just sit back, and hopefully we'll have a good show tonight. I mean, not even hopefully. We're going to have an outstanding show tonight. Anyway, tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Kev, the older guy. And shoot, I'm talking right now. So why I chose facts are stubborn things. Cuz it's nothing like a fact. A fact that get you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what that fact is. Sometimes facts can be kind of shitty. Sorry about that, but that's just the way life is. Because facts are facts. Facts aren't feelings. Facts aren't opinions. Facts aren't fair. Facts are just facts. And it's what I'm saying is like this. If you're hitting me with a negative opinion and I have a fact to go against you, I will beat you up with that fact. And I expect the same in return, because there's this thing called respect. That goes hand in hand with factual information. But anyway, some of you out there don't have that respect, and but some of us out here do. And for those who have that appreciation for such, I commend you. My hat's off to you. And I wish you all the success and all the stress free and fun filled life that you can get your hands on. But anyway, just a couple things tonight. I know that there's a lot of tension and everything going on in the manosphere, and the black manosphere, as I will continue to promote. And I'm going ahead and say it like I've said this on other broadcasts. There are, there are people that are going around making videos about the black manosphere, but they're not being specific to the, because there are other manospheres out there. So I just want to make sure that you fellas know that you can say black manosphere. Just make sure that we know specifically who you're talking about. So hey, there it is, and you know, all the success in the world for what we're trying to do over here, and maybe one day, people will see it. And I'm relatively new, but I just want people to understand that I'm supportive. So it's the facts that we like, and there are facts that we don't like. Let me think of a fact that I like. Okay, uh, that's not centered in opinion. Okay, if you work out and you don't take certain things into your body, then you could likely end up in a healthy lifestyle. The only thing is, if if something is genetically wrong with you, that's the only thing that could keep you from it if you do all the right things. You know, there are outliers, but that's a fact. An opinion, for some might be that obese people do not look good. That's not factual for everyone, but depending on what your standard is. Um, I don't know. I guess saying facts are stubborn things does give it sort of a tense spin on the saying itself. So let's talk about the intensity of it. Um, Facts are stubborn. I think the meaning of that saying is like you can't really argue against a fact. You can't budge on a fact. No matter how passionately, how heavily, no matter how many other facts, even other facts that you bring up, even if you bring up other facts, you can't change a fact into something else. Um, no one really has ever really won, been successful against a fact. Facts are indisputable. Facts are something you can't argue with. But sometimes when some people are presented with facts, it has a very negative reaction. Like we have this thing that we have this idea that that we cling on to is that even if a fact is a fact, if it makes people uncomfortable, we hide it. We hide it, and we make up this little reality where the fact is null and void. The whole point is to is to win whatever point you're trying to make, and it's impossible to do that by creating your own reality. Creating, well, I don't like to use right wing terms, alternative facts, because literally there's no such thing as an alternative fact. Facts are facts. That's a mechanism in the dumbing down of America. A social media term. The irony of being on social media saying that. But the reality is that some of us just have co-signed to alternative facts. You know, Unfair scrutiny, so to speak. You know, pretending that only everything that has happened as of late has never happened before. Like rap lyrics being scrutinized. Funny to me how when people start throwing up their virtue signals about that particular situation, I would tell them rappers have always been scrutinized for their lyrics. What do you come back with and tell me? Either you ignore it or you'll come up with some whole explanation. Like, yeah, I'm everything except telling the truth. Shout out to Gerald. Shout out to Raw L. Salute to you guys. Why do people try to argue with facts if facts are such stubborn things? It's just it makes for a counterproductive conversation. It's it's fun to go to the default mechanism, and when I say that is when you're hit with a ton of facts and you back it up against a wall. The default mechanism is to resort to fuckery. Ad hominem. Well, at least, what I've seen. Shout out to Absalon Piank, uh, Pianki. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Um, let's see. Yeah. What I'm saying is, when you hit somebody with too many facts, I mean, and I understand. I'll admit to a shortcoming. I'm pretty aggressive when I'm trying to make a point. Um, and when you're aggressive, it comes off to the opposite side. Is that when really it doesn't come off to the opposite side. It's just that it'll result in the ad hominem attacks, the name calling, the fuckery, the you ain't shit, you must, like the shaming attacks. And how many fortunately, as of late in these spaces, I've been able to get through quite a few conversations without without the shaming and without the arguing and without the ad hominem, because when people start to talk and we start to admit that maybe some of those facts, that some of those facts may be true, then we can come to a productive resolution. Okay. Shout out to Gerald for clearing me up on that. So, yeah. But I mean, let me just put it to you like this. Let me just put it to you like this. This is why I don't know. I guess a lot of brothers don't want the Rogish. Rogish, what's going on? Thanks for the super chat. Long live the habitual line steppers. All right. I don't know. So let me ask y'all a question. How many hostile conversations are you willing to have? Uh, how many of those negative? How many ad hominem attacks are you willing to take in order to get a point across? It's just it's facts are facts. Okay, so all right. So what's going on, Roger?
Nothing,
Uh,
nothing much. Long live the habitual line steppers, brother.
yeah, yes. And Rogish, yeah, dropped the super chat. Uh,
Shout out to Rogish.
yeah. So tonight's broadcast will be my weekly episodic show, any given Sunday. Yes, this is the Sunday spot, and I do realize saying that is saying this after the Roger Report broadcasted on Sunday. So now he has the memo.
But as we know, I usually don't do that. And as I just said on my show, this was really your time. So I was just doing something till you get ready. But now that you got ready, I'm jumping right on over. You know,
Okay, but still, though, I mean, you're taking a message to the masses, and I have nothing against that. And you're a habitual line stepper, so it's
well,
all good, brother. But
well,
we're here, we're now. But so
absolutely.
what? But so I have a question for you, and this might be a little tough one. I didn't mean to surprise you like this. Um, are facts stubborn things, Roger?
Man, the ones I come across, they 100% of the time they are. I'm gonna tell you that. Yeah, they something else, man. They don't seem to change just because I want them to.
Hmm. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
shout out to you, Absalom. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Shout out to you, brother.
Yeah, man. And also, I do realize that some of these people might have been watching your broadcast. So thanks for sending them this way. Appreciate that.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah. So yeah. So Roger. So continue to answer the question, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, they are a stubborn thing, man. They are a stubborn thing. And you know what? I happened to just see that community post that you made earlier today, asking who's the sellout, and it showed Ice Cube and his black family, in comparison to Kamala and her non-black family. Yeah, facts is Cube is my man. Point blank, period, and that ain't about to change. That's a fact right there. He been supportive of black people his whole career. That's a fact right there. That ain't about to change. I'm tired of people trying to come at Q for the stuff he's doing. I may talk a little bit about that on my show tomorrow. I ain't decided yet, but yeah, facts are real stubborn, man. You know, and as a brother in this society, when you start hitting people over the head with facts, a lot of times they get mad at you for some reason.
Yeah. And what I didn't get was how Cube explained all the facts of the situation, and people were still like, "You're a sellout. You're a coon." I mean, I don't like even in that interview with Chris Cuomo. It was like Chris Cuomo was trying to shove words in his mouth, And Ice Cube was like, "Well, I didn't endorse Trump. I'm not working with the Trump administration. I went to both parties, and one listened, one told me to wait till after the election. Those were the facts."
Absolutely. And I know I would feel some type of way if someone told me, well, you know what? I understand you got a plan for black people in America, but we really don't really need to hear your plan till this election is over with. That would have made me feel some type of way. That's that's
What
all I'm saying.
what
Facts
I
of the
don't understand.
situation is the Republicans looked a lot better than the Democrats on that one.
I mean, you have no problem with the Biden camp saying that wait till after the election, but everybody wanted to hear, and I'm just throwing this out there. Everybody wanted to hear Bernie Sanders say, "I support reparations." Before they decided to invest in him. So what was wrong with what Cube said? I mean, you have to work with somebody. I mean, it ain't like you got an entire like just numerous army ready to overthrow the government. So I mean, you might want to try peace. You might be diplomatic. And talk first at least. And I think that's the strategy that Q tried to employ. He has a thing that is literally called the contract with Black America. And I think from my understanding, the concept is to sell your vote. And just admit that you want something for your vote. Just admit that you want these politicians to do their job and to do what you elect. Do what you elect. Do what they for them to do what you voted for them to do, right? Rather, whatever the expectation of the people is, and a lot of people feel like they're just not getting that.
Well, I'm trying to sell my vote every time. Point blank, period. I don't know what people get off with. I shouldn't sell my vote. My vote for sale is it has always been for sale. It's gonna always be for sale. If you got something for me, I'm trying to hear what you're talking about. If you got nothing for me, I ain't really trying to listen. Just that's just what it is for me. I'm not doing anything just because somebody say I'm supposed to do it. You know,
Mm.
that's what got our community so messed up right now. We got too many folks trying to tell people what to do, and they want a lot of brothers to listen just because they said it. That don't work for me. And see,
Mm.
and that's a fact. That's a stubborn thing right there. Our community is real messed up because we got too many people just trying to dictate to others what to do and can't even give them a good reason on why to do it.
Mm. Gerald, because they don't want to lose their power. Like abortions.
Well, I would say when it comes to the abortion issue, I don't even make a fuss about abortion issue anymore. It's just I accept that sisters use it as birth control. That's the way it's gonna be. Ain't nothing the brother can do about that particular thing. So I'm not gonna worry about stuff I can't control. Um, but it is what it is. Because even if you somehow say, I don't even see where we can get something where abortion would be taken off the table because it's gonna be related to freedoms. You're never gonna really get rid of it. Well, now that it's here, it ain't going nowhere. I've
Mm.
accepted that. I
Mm.
think brothers just that's just a fight you kind of need to let go and put your energy into something else. That's what I look.
Yeah,
That's what I would
yeah,
look
yeah,
at. How I look at that one. You
yeah.
know.
Pretty much. Because honestly, there are some people that are walking around that probably should have been abortions, and I know that is a strong thing to say. But we could have prevented a lot if some people were just aborted instead of allowed to ruin things and fuck things up. So so you gotta kind of look at that as a glass half full. But here's another fact that men should be fighting for their rights anyway. You know, we should be fighting to establish our rights, and that's a fact. So welcome to the panel, Ra L.
Peace, Kev. Peace, Roger again.
Peace, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm glad he's talking about this particular topic because it was something that we were trying to have a discussion on earlier on Fantastic's channel, but wasn't allowed to. Um, um, I want to read something, man, that Booker T. Washington said back in 1911. So this just goes to show you how long this has been an issue, and it really needs to come to an end. Booker T. Washington said, there is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs, quote unquote. Now, he packs a lot in that statement.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying this and I've been beating the drums to this. This is something that this collective body has been fighting since his time. There are people in Black America who they speak with a forked tongue because they'll say how racist white people are. They'll talk about how white people don't want you to do nothing. But the thing that gets me is the fact that, well, if you don't have any institutions that you can go to sustain yourself, how are you able to maintain yourself in this country? These people they don't have the institutions, while at the same time are constantly going to the very white people that they're claiming are so evil for handouts all the time. You can't make the same, you can't do that. You cannot make the same argument. You can't out of one mouth say the white man is evil, but you lived in a white man project, or your family did for 3 straight generations that he built for y'all. That's impossible. And so now, I've said this before, you can say whatever you want about either party, as far as I'm concerned. But when a party puts $500 billion on the table, I would think everybody's attention should be like, okay, we need to listen. Because we ain't never seen no party put $500 billion on the table at once and then not come in the form of a welfare check. We ain't never seen it. This is unprecedented. So in this climate where you have all this racial projecting and coding and stuff like that, when Black people have the ear of some of these white people who are, even just for the optics, if they're willing to put some money on the table, even if people say, well, they only doing it because it makes them look good. So what? Are we against Abraham Lincoln for issuing the Emancipation Proclamation because he was white? Because it made him look good? Or we happy as hell we ain't on them goddamn plantations no more? I mean, ain't no such thing as a perfect politician. It don't exist. So for me, my mentality, is very simple. The reason why you have a lot of Black people that are pushing back on this is very simple. Because you can't keep making excuses when somebody put $500 billion on the table. Now when somebody says some dumb shit like, well, they owe Black people a whole lot more. Man, people who beat you on the battlefield don't owe you nothing. They owe you nothing. They won. They won. So when it comes to this particular situation, you have a lot, to me, as far as I'm concerned, when you have money of that magnitude put on the table, we need to see the people like Robert F. Johnson. What's the dude that used to be the CEO of American Express as a Black guy? Something Chanel. People like that who know business, who know finance, who understand where money can be sent and put in certain places for money to grow, so Black people can start building the institutions necessary, so they don't have to keep coming to each election with a handout, begging for something that they're never going to get because they ain't never coming to the table with no money. Politicians, man, want money. They not doing this out the kindness of their heart. They want to get elected. They got things that they're trying to accomplish for their family as well. You got to put some money on the table. So the reality of the situation is, man, there are a lot of people who are complaining, man, because they want the problems to stay. They don't want the problems to go. They want to keep things the same. And I'll leave it right there for right now.
Okay, let's welcome Absalon Pianki. How do you pronounce that? I'm just clarify it for us.
Oh no, you right on the money, man. You right on the money. You said it clear enough for me.
Okay, all right, awesome. So go ahead, make say what you got to say, bro. The floor is open for you.
Well, I thank y'all brothers for the time in the day, giving the opportunity to just add me on, and you know, absorb what you got going on first and foremost, and then to chime in. So I thank you guys once again for the opportunity and the honor. I would like to piggyback on what was just said, as far as in my own words, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, or you know, give your thoughts too as well. But I would like to chime in and piggyback. I was saying, as far as he was saying, that the politicians, you know, being in the position to be backed, you know, by a certain, you know, a machine, or you know, just certain funding. And in my opinion, I think that's why the uproar is so big as far as Trump, because you know he's not a politician. For you know those of us who really know what's the deal going on with him, he's just a businessman. And I would like to think maybe it's to the fact that he funded his own regime, that's why a lot of people are so mad, because he may not owe anybody based on based on endorsements and things of that nature. To whereas you know you got people who you know you in their pockets now and you owe them favors and stuff. It's like you know they calling him a bigot, and things that's worse than that. And I kind of think it's amusing. I think you know maybe it is, maybe it ain't, but I mean it's not the usual that we used to. So I mean I'm gonna just leave it at that. As far as politics, and I like to hear if anybody you know feedback on that.
Well, I think you just brought up something fantastic right there, because I didn't even think about that part of the concept. Because a lot of people do certain things so they can be owed certain things, and Donald Trump was definitely in the position not to owe anybody anything. And I'm gonna check into this story because I heard maybe about Thursday that Donald Trump wasn't even accepting. Well, he has to take some form of payment to say he got paid because of the law. But I heard he took like $1 since he's been president, and that's all he's gonna allow them to pay. And the rest of the money is like being donated to charity. So he actually in there doing stuff because it's about what he believes in versus even any type of financial situation. Now, if that's the truth, you know, I'm gonna have to give that man a lot more respect than I'm already giving him. But like I said, when I start researching into Biden and Trump, you know, if you told me to pick the races, it wouldn't be Trump. You know, based on what they've been doing. You know, so I'm pretty sure Trump gonna win. I know a lot of people don't like that, and I am researching the candidates right now for the election. I always just research people, see everybody who's actually in the election, because I know you only gonna hear about the Democrats and Republicans on television. But if I had to pick between them two, I would go with Trump. I'm gonna see if somebody else has something better for me, but it looks like Trump right now.
Roger.
What's that, brother?
Roger. Man, you can't. You gotta. We gotta get Orange hair out of the office. We gotta keep the races out of office. You know.
well, you know what? I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Looking at both of them two, and looking at all the races. Well, first of all, I'm just keeping it real. I don't have no personal belief that any president was not a racist. I'm even shaking on Obama. You know, like I said the other night on your show, I believe I said that if you really had to put something together to prove Obama was not a racist, you'd have a hard time proving that case. Point blank, period. So he might be the only person that wasn't necessarily a racist, but you can't even put it past him due to the policies and things that he pushed, the things that he backed. So you never really know. The one good thing he really tried to do for black folks, am I my brother's keeper? Would have helped out the black boys, but then that kind of got interrupted. But my thing is, he's a smart guy. Did he put that out there just so it would be interrupted? I say all the time, if a black man builds a sandcastle, let women find out in an hour to be kicked over. So he might have done that on purpose because he knew what the reaction would be. You never really know. But I always vote for what I feel is best for myself, best for my family, best for my people, best for my country. And at the end of the day, with what I'm looking at, what Biden has done, and I'm looking at what Trump has done, Trump is clearly better than Biden. Now, people may hate me for saying that, but I'm just telling you what I'm looking at. Trump is clearly better than Biden. Now, more than likely, I ain't gonna vote for neither one of them because it's very rare that I will vote for a Democrat or Republican. Usually, I'm gonna go with what they call the third party because I believe we got to put more pressure on the Democrats and Republicans to start paying attention to the people. So I'm probably not gonna vote for either one of them anyway. But if I had to pick just between them two, it looked like I would have to give my vote to Trump.
Mm, mm, mm.
Let
Yeah,
me chime in. Go ahead, Kev.
no, 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 no. I was about to say something real smug, but I'm not going to get in the way of intelligent dialogue. So you go right ahead.
Um, Anybody that knows anything about business, business is not focused on problem. But businesses, when people in business see problem, they see an opportunity. Um, Too many of the people in our group, especially the educated black people, they're problem oriented. Their mind is predisposed to just constantly look for problems. Your Michael Eric Dysons, your Al Sharptons. When you look at a lot of these people's backgrounds, many of their backgrounds are sociology based, psychology based, things like that. And these particular disciplines tend to focus on problems a lot. Business is about bringing about a solution. And so when you look at something like this, it's a fork in the road moment. If black people think they're going to just get a whole bunch of opportunities where these racist white folks, are going to put $500 billion on the table, they're sadly mistaken. And make no mistake about it, too. Other groups are watching black people, too. And if these other groups of people see black people turn down $500 billion or don't use $500 billion, they're not going to have any respect for black people. They're not going to have any mercy for black people. They're not going to they're not going to give black people definitely a handout. Anything that happens to black people, people will literally not give a damn about. Because all they're going to do is going to go back to this moment in time and say, hey, Trump tried to give y'all $500 billion and y'all turned it down. And so make no mistake about this, because I try to tell a lot of black men, man, everybody out here is out for self. You need to wake up and be out for self too. These groups of people out here, man, they're out for self. These women, man, hey, they out for self. Now, if for them, it's the state, it's the welfare state. That's what they want. Hey, that's on them. Me, I'm not aligning myself up with a woman who even thinks like that anyway. We're not on the same side. We're not a part of the same party, nothing like that. But make no mistake about it, man, people are watching. And we have to really, this ain't about liking somebody. This is about our interests. There are times in history where people they've had alliances with people they don't like to achieve common objectives. So in this particular regard, one particular party said, hey, well, we'll get with you back after the election. Another party said, hey, why don't you come over here and offer some input and we'll use some of that stuff in what we already got set up. And here you go. So somebody offers something tangible and somebody else didn't. Now, I can't speak for anybody else. I'd rather have a half a piece of bread than no bread if I'm hungry. That's just me.
I mean, also
oh, my bad, Kev. Go ahead.
No. I mean, when people have to realize it's called a means to an end. I mean, a starting point. You have to start somewhere. And I mean, this just, and I'm not saying that this isn't some form of pandering. It all could be by design. Like Rob was saying, you threw up $500 billion a year, and just to see what you're gonna do. Now, I mean, even if Cube went in expecting nothing, it certainly showed you something about both parties. I mean, even if the Republicans were pandering, the Democrats still, exposed the mentality that, oh, well, we feel like we got enough support anyway, just shut up and vote, and then we may consider it, which is, something I feel like the Dems are infamous for. So, that's, I agree with, what was just said. But welcome, Gerald. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, how you brothers doing? This is the first time on my phone. I normally like to do the computer, but I had to come on. The name is the brother's name is called Pianke. Pianke was I won't say he was a Kemet ruler. And what it was, I don't know who the rulers were at that time, but they were fat, greasy MFs. And I think they was the Hookokes. We better know them as hunkies or crackers. That's who we know. So they was taxing people. Seriously, they were taxing the people for all their gold. So instead of Pianke sending gold, he put some troops on that boat. He went up there and whooped their ass. Now that's as much as I know about Pianke, because as you know, they suppressed our information. And I just found out some information last night that most of us, we are universal, but we're Moors and we're from Spain. They have suppressed a lot of this information, Kev, just like they suppressed that information about Donald pimping Trump. Let's be real about this, man. Trump is not a politician. Poly means group of people. You know what a tick is, a bloodsucker.
We can clearly see that. I mean, every time he speaks on a political matter and Pence is around, he just gives the floor to Pence. I mean, I would call that openly admitting where your strengths and where your weaknesses are. I mean,
and that's what smart business people do. They surround themselves with people who are more capable when they need it.
There you go. Yeah. And see, that's what a businessman does. Where he's weak at, he brings it in. But see, you got to go back. You got to go back, man. There's only been two good people in that position. One of them is Kennedy, as long as I've been living. I can't speak on Kennedy or Jefferson or Jackson. All I know is I still never met a Caucasian person with the name of Jefferson, nor Jackson, nor Lincoln. All the Lincolns, Jefferson, Jackson I know are brothers and sisters. So let's speed up to date. America been bankrupt since 1933. Once the Fed, which I hate to say the name, MOB, but let's be honest, America's been ruled by the word mobocracy. Take the bureaucracy out and use the word mob. We just a modern day Rome. So here's the problem. Donald J. Trump or Donald T. Trump or Donald Pimpin' Trump is a thorn in a man named George Soros. This dude actually stood up to George Soros and say, no, I'm not rolling with that bullshit. I'm going to give the people back their power. This is where something called the rainbow currency is coming in. Why? Because they taking the Fed, the big bosses, they old, decrepit, about to die. They got to take them out. Because if Hillary would have got in there, we would have been in serious trouble. This is why women are catering to the Democratic Party because they don't want to lose their power. And it goes back to what Rael said on the other show. The main word is you can go to jeopardy. What is emotions for 400, Alex? Who is the black woman? There it is right there. So who would you want, Kev? We have no other choice. Not to mention, bro, they just got their computer. They got their computer. And Alex Jones is the one that actually shouldn't open up his mouth, but he did. That dude made Hillary Clinton look like a walk in the park, what he did to little girls. He tortured little girls. They're going to get them. See, this ain't about even the presidency. This about turning over a new leaf in what these people have done. See, I think you guys can go as far as back as Atlanta. Remember the Atlanta child murders?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I know some of y'all remember that. Yeah. One of the parents, which they don't talk to her no more, she said that the boy said it was a white man that was riding around in a black car. And this came up with about 4 or 5 other people. They pushed it under the rug. They got Wayne Williams. Wayne Williams said, I never forget the special he said. He said, in quote, "I'm at peace with myself. I just know I didn't do it in the killers out there." So this is what this is all about. It's trying to get the people back to power because they really want to vaccinate us. You have to go back to the movie They Live and the other movie called Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'm just kind of glad that I can now. I'm old enough with my old gray beard ass. I'm old enough that I can put this puzzle together. I kind of don't like being on the outside, but you know what, man? I love being outside the box. You know, I know Donald Trump is not the problem. The problem was always Democrats. Democrats, you might as well change the Demo to Dixiecrats. That's who was lynching brothers and sisters. And they lynched a few Jewish guys. See, they forgot they wrote down their history. They wrote down history. And see, remember, they control the education. This is why men such as you guys got tired of being spit on. Here's your choice. If somebody's trying to spit on you, you either get out the way or it contacts you. Trust me, you're going to kill that person. That is the biggest insult in life, man. So this is what women have done. I've said it to you on your show before. They also, like you said, they're stubborn. They refuse to hold any accountability and say that they're wrong and even say that they're sorry. Now, my mother said she was sorry, but here's my question. Nigga, did you tell my father you were sorry for claiming that the man violated you? You know how many men have done time for that lie? You know how the prison have gotten paid for that bullshit lie? That's why I say, Kev, your daughter is a lucky little girl. Your wife is lucky. For somebody to get married somebody in the 21st century, duck dodge in the 21st century, it's amazing. You know, my eye pupils used to be white. They red as hell, man. And it ain't from getting high all the time. It's just I see all the crimes and all the stupidity and all the crap that's on Facebook, how they throwing this man under the bus. Better yet, nobody's talking about the man is trying to go in the underground bunkers and save the children. Nobody's talking about that.
Man, I think that I honestly think, like, for your own sanity, that black men probably need to withdraw from Facebook because it's getting ridiculous in there. I see so much so much low IQ bottom feeding things. I mean, there are people on there. There are smart people on there, but they don't have a chance.
Man. I left Facebook
Say
in
what?
2016. I left it in 2016. I ain't never going back to Twitter. Oh.
I'm with you. I'm gonna follow you guys. I'm gonna leave too, man. I gotta get away from that, man. I have to.
Yeah. I mean, I have to.
Myself.
I mean, I have to acknowledge Facebook in a way that, okay, it did bring me to YouTube, and I'll explain that next week in one of the broadcasts. I'm gonna do a little confessional. You know, I mean, you know, I'll give y'all insight on that a little later, but, you know, don't want to stray away from the topic too much. But yeah, so facts is Trump may not be as big a bad a guy as y'all think he is, correct? Or he's maybe
exactly.
Nah,
remember this, Kev. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let y'all talk. Remember this, Kev. United States of America is a corporation. Who better to run it than a man who can play the game? I say play the game and get the people $500 million and see what they can do with it, which I already know they're going to lose their rabbit ass mind because people going to have their hands stuck out. Okay, that's what I got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think Rael made a great point about that 500 billion, because let's keep it real. Nobody had to talk to Q. Nobody. But people took a meeting with Q because he was putting something together. And to take a meeting with a man and then say, well, you know what? We understand where you're coming from. You're trying to help your people. Your people are Americans. So let's see what we can get done with 500 billion. When is the last time that has happened? Real talk. And then my thing is, people should be taking their ideas to politicians instead of always accepting the ideas that politicians have for us. You know what I'm saying? That I've said this before on one of my broadcasts before, and I'm going to say it again because I'm going to start throwing out some different political ideas on how to get things done. Because I want to show people that we actually could solve all these quote unquote American problems. It's just the politicians don't want to play ball and get things done. They in it for different interests than what the people want, which is why I'm so anti-Republican and anti-Democrat from a general standpoint. But I still look up what's going on before I make my vote just to see. And now that I've looked into the Trump and Biden, man, Trump look a whole lot better than Biden. He just does. Just off the facts, he just does.
Well, let me
I
say,
think if you wanted to chalk it up to health, yeah, definitely. You know, as far as who you think is going to have their head intact in 4 years, Biden or Trump.
I'm pretty sure Trump will be fine.
I mean, Trump for sure.
Well, I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote with Trump too, because there's gonna be a surprise that's gonna come up, and I think it's gonna really turn a lot of heads. What's gonna come up in the quick future, and it's dealing with the Kennedy family. I'm also say this, Kev. Trump said this, and people push it under the rug so quick. Trump said that the natives of America, the ones that we call the natives now, he said they don't look like the original natives. They hurried up and pushed it under the rug so quick, which means it comes back to question who we are, which means reparation.
Exactly.
It does, man.
And that was that lady he was going at. He called the fake Pocahontas.
You remember that? He sure did.
Yeah, he was going in on her. He was like, "You ain't no Native American." He was like, "We know who the natives are." He was like, "We know who and they don't look like you." He was like, "They don't look like you." And I got some Moors that I know. I got a couple of homies. They was on point with that one. They was loving that one when that dropped. And like you said, that sound bite, like that thing disappeared real quick.
Well, you do know that I think in '93, I think it was the Senate apologized for overthrowing the Kingdom of Hawaii. Now, if you do your research, when you go back into the late 1800s, King of Hawaii was a Moor.
Sure was.
And so, matter of fact, there was a show. What's the name of that show? It was an old school show, and they brought it back. It just ended. What's the name? Hawaii Five-0.
Okay.
And they had an episode that showed the brother team. They showed it on the show. And if you look at his old photos, he has a fez on with Islam on the front.
Wow.
So what we're trying to say is that
we've been lied to.
Yeah, people. There's so much interference that's just being ran because a lot of people are in a lot of uncomfortable positions that when the music stops, they're gonna be caught standing up. So the key for Black people right now is trying to get themselves in a comfortable position. Like, this is an opportunity for Black people to get themselves in a comfortable position. Like, Black people don't have the power to really fight nothing out here physically. Like, any talk like that is just really silly. But when you get yourself in a position economically, build your institutions that you need necessary to address your people's issues or problems, then you're in a much more you're in a better position to really engage the world properly. The problem with Black people now is that Black people can't engage with the world like that, the way that they're supposed to. Like they're supposed to be. We talk about how Tulsa was burned. There should be 1,000 Tulsas out here. Like we should be talking about. Yeah, we should be talking about like one city. Like we more than capable of building cities, man. We have Black men who have construction companies in the United States. Black men who are millionaires. There's a Black woman that's in Texas. She has a construction company making, hundreds of millions of dollars each year. So we have the capacity out of all the melanated people in the world here to put ourselves in a position to win. The problem is that we collectively are too scared to let that plantation go, because when you let that plantation go, it's on you.
Yep.
You got to figure that shit out. And that's what made a lot of people didn't leave the plantation, because they were scared of the unknown. Man, you can't be scared of the unknown. The system that we have here that's set up, people need to get over it. This system was set up for you to get money first. This is why this place is set up the way it is. Now, when you get your money, you build your community around the things that your community are into. Like, this is why you got a little Germantown. This is why you got a little Chinatown, Little Italy. You build your own representation of what your people represent. Black people got to get into that frame of mind. And this is what this money can help them do. Black people need to be ready. See, Black people have been asking for stuff for so long that when something is finally put on the table, niggas been talking so much, yapping. Now some money has been put on the table, niggas don't know what the fuck to do, because they just been talking. they just been talking now, because now somebody just called their bluff. Now it's like, okay, oh, you want to talk? Okay, here's $500 billion. What you gonna do?
Yep. Like, how dare you offer me $500 billion
right.
and make me do something for myself?
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's where the rubber meets the road. So now all these people, finance background, business background, stuff like that. Man, let me tell you something. They put that money out there and they say, hey, this is what it's going to be set up in. You can apply for this. Boom. I'm going to be the first one in line. I promise you. I can't speak for anybody else, but when they make that money available, I'm telling you, I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm telling you, like, it's going to be a lot of Black folks that's just going to be sitting there. They ain't got no ideas. They ain't got no concepts to work with. Everything that they've been talking about their whole life has been grievance-based, complaining, whining all the time. And I'm telling you, if this money is made available and they don't utilize it properly, everybody on earth gonna look at Black people in America as failures. Everybody. And they should.
Watch the great separation come, Rod, because this reset. I've said it to Roger before. I think I had a private conversation with Roger and Darkstalker. I had this private conversation. This is where this reset is coming. What they don't want now. This is the opposition of Trump. What they don't want is they want the reset to come too. But when the reset comes, they want to be able to tax us. Now, if you look at your 1040 form, damn, I shouldn't say this. Right up under your name, when you sign that form, the word voluntary is there.
Do that. I'll do it.
Okay. Let me shut up. But it's there. It's there. Like I said, on one show, they put Sherry Peel Jackson in prison, and she worked for the IRS.
I'm telling you, keep that in the back.
Yeah. You going on some touchy ground now.
But it's time for us to wake up. I'm tired of being a cotton picker. That's why I recognize that name Pianke. I want to be a Pianke, but from my ass getting kicked by as that last conversation about the women, when I told y'all that time I was very passionate about it, I said, I'm done. I've seen too much. People have died. These women have gotten away with pure murder. It's like, no, you don't want a Shaka Zulu like me being ruler. Because the last thing on my table is black women. First thing, children. Second is us. Third is Bill. Prove your worth. Because I don't even think they're worth it anymore. Because everything to them is emotional, nothing building. I was lucky, y'all, to have a grandmother. I also was lucky enough, my grandmother say, listen, I can't raise no man. I got to ship you off to your father. And ship she did. And he told me some fantastic things. I'm still pissed off that he didn't get me all the way, because if he would have gotten me all the way, the 2 kids I have, I would have avoided that drama. And like I told Ra, I literally missed out on $30 million, man. And I still sometimes cry. So I hope Monday my daughters see this show, because the last thing any of them want to ever do is meet me, because I tried to produce this economical system. The education is weak. The best system in the world is to educate yourself about finance, currency, and money. It is the best education. So yeah, give that 500 million. I sure come up with a plan, a few plans, to get things started, because I think it's going to happen. I'm just fighting to live. That's what I want to do. Live.
Yeah, I
And
think that's all.
and I agree. I agree with you on that. And to chime in, to piggyback off you once again, as far as the so-called his story, or what we would say, or the mystery of Kemet or whatever, when they speak on Pianki as the king, they say he's really the king, was the king of Kush, of combine the dynasties of Kush and Kemet together as one. So not to not at all give that type of precedence power to someone like Trump, but I would just say, like, it's kind of similar where you're trying to merge both parties, because in all actuality there only is one party, and it's the Republic.
Yep.
And I've been lucky enough to learn that from some people putting out good information, to whereas when they recite the Pledge of Allegiance, they say,
yes,
to the Republic to which it stands, one nation, you see,
under God.
under God. They're not saying nothing. This is just a republic ran by a democracy, but that been default. You see, we all know that been default. And this person right now, this guy Trump, is trying to implement something that's already been in place, which is basically, the Republican Party, that has they hand in it, but then they have this also, I guess, this Democratic thing. The brother also chimed in on this. His name is Pimp God. As far as the word demos, being in the Greek term, demos means like devil, Satan. So they've been implementing these things for years, like tax increases on taxes and things, just holding things up. And my whole thing is just to end it off, as far as I think black people are just scared of Trump. And to me, it's just a disappointment that, like you say, you speak about 500 million being on the table, and they still, like, our people are still looking at it like it's something else other than out there, other than us taking advantage of what we got. And I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to say that. Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Kel.
No. I mean, I'm just saying, do you think that they putting 500 billion on the table just to see how we'll flip it? I mean, what is the actual plan?
We will give it back, though. We'll give it back.
I have no idea. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Roger. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say I have no idea why they want to put 500 billion on the table, but I don't even care about that part. You know what I'm saying? It's my thing is like, how do we gain access to the 500 billion? Is it really 500 billion? But see, in this particular case, I actually believe it. A lot of times people make promises, and I'd be like, well, you know what? I bet it's gonna come in this form or that form, or they're gonna do something where it's so controlled you really can't use it. You can only do it the way they want you to do it. Like this is only for people who are going to school for this particular subject and these particular places, where they say they give you the money, but the money is actually going to white controlled institutions. You know, in
Hey,
this
but
particular case, I believe they might actually give us something. You know?
let me ask you a question.
Have y'all seen the fact that Killer Mike is rolling out a bank coming out in January?
I did hear that.
I have seen that.
I heard it. I just don't trust him though, because he caping for Bernie Sanders in the Democratic Party. But if you know, who you gonna answer to?
I mean, if you look at his recent interviews, it don't look like it.
Okay, well that's cool.
What I'm saying is, see, we got distracted by civil rights.
True.
Before civil rights, our great grandfathers and great uncles were building.
Yep.
They were building.
So you're gonna have to explain that a little bit to me. Distracted by civil rights. I'm from the civil rights central.
I'm gonna tell you why.
We got respect for that. So you have to clear that up for me.
We got distracted. Hold on, we got distracted by civil rights in the fact that we allowed it to take us away from the institution building that had already been taking place before. If you go back to the times of Booker T. Washington, who set up the National Negro Business League, he set up the National Negro Business League because he wanted black businesses to basically have a organization where they could come together and work together with each other, basically kind of some co-op type stuff. If you go back during those times, there were black co-ops that existed in the 1880s. Grocer co-ops, other types of co-ops. From 1886 to 1934, you had 134 black-owned banks that came into existence in the United States. So nobody can sit here and tell us that we weren't moving in the right direction. We got blindsided by the civil rights, and it was used in a way to really it was oriented towards the women, because when you look at civil rights, who got the most out of it? Women,
white women.
It was never supposed to be for black men. They used civil rights to get the black man's vote. That's what they used it for. It was a smokescreen, because if you go back to the 15th Amendment, once the federal troops were taken out of the South because of Reconstruction, this is exactly what the racist parties, the racist Democrats have been doing up until 1965 with the Voting Rights Act. We never needed a Voting Rights Act. We got the right to vote with the 15th Amendment. We never needed that. The reality was it was because when the federal troops got removed from the South because that was there for Reconstruction, that's when you had the elevation of the Klan. The Klan wasn't about killing black men. Yes, they killed black men, but their purpose was to keep black men from voting. That was what the purpose was. So up until that point, they passed all these black codes that kept black men from voting until they came with this voting rights bill that was bullshit. We didn't need a voting rights bill from Johnson. We already had the right to vote. They just kept us from voting. They kept us from voting through poll taxes, literacy tests. If your granddad was you couldn't vote. It was a smoke screen. It has always been about the black male vote, because black men, just think about it. Why would black men support any of these damn policies from these people that's been completely counterproductive to us? That shit don't even make any sense. But when they was able to bring the women over time, especially when you're giving them welfare, well, what kind of kids and what kind of sons are they going to raise? They're going to raise sons that's going to basically vote against their own best interests. That's what's been going on. It's that simple. Beautiful strategy is a beautiful plan, because that shit worked. That shit worked.
Hey, Kev, what he just said in simple form, civil rights and welfare are the same thing in different times. The Trojan horse in those times was MLK, even though his name was Michael. But we'll say Martin Luther King. He was the highest paid civil rights leader. He said it his damn self, which I still to this day am not a King fan. And I lived in the South. He said, I'm taking my people into a burning house, you motherfucker. We had it. He's right. They went around the United States and bombed every black town they could. From North Carolina to the first Black Wall Street was in North Carolina. Again,
Wilmington?
Yes, I found that out here in Canada, just like I found out that Booker T. Washington was poisoned. Shocked the hell out of me. I had to come to another country to find this out. But yes, man. And then you go to Houston, everywhere, even the surrounding areas of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They just now talking about that. Black townships. Guess what the main product was in Oklahoma? Oil. And guess who was doing the oil? People that look like me, you, Raj, Bianca, and Rael. It was us. It was us. So their whole Trojan horse was King. They switched it over. And that's why they took out Malcolm Little, better known as Malcolm X, because he didn't put King on game. He put his wife on game and told him who we were. And that's why I ain't gonna touch that one, but that's why the nation started player hate. Because Malcolm found out the truth. He's like, whoa. So we've been lied to. And that's what happened. So again, long live what? Man, it's the best damn platform on the planet. And I've seen one. I've seen them all. Y'all, man, y'all got the shit. I'm just telling you now. This shit better than Johnny Carson. That's how old I am. This shit is real, man. This shit better than Johnny Carson. This is real, bro. Shit. Because you can with different people's and not different opinions, like everybody bringing out facts. I mean, Kev, this is like school all over again. This is what the young guys need, because if they're going to give up that $500 billion, I know who should be included in this. The youth, including young little girls. They're going to have to change. They're going to have to stop acting like their mom. They're going to have to start loving themselves, and they're going to have to stop gluing. Listen to me, y'all.
Well, I mean, we have to get back to the value of the nuclear family in order for that to happen, because it's been shown that clearly we cannot just leave it in their hands. It's like, or there's going to be trouble.
Well, all of us, we have to come together. But I say, if we're going to come together with the females, I say, let's come together with the young, strong ones, because a lot of them, I'm sorry, Roger, I'm going to have a pit bull at the door. Some of them can't get in. That pit bull, I'm going to be like, attack. y'all can't come in. No, you can see it on their face, man. You can see, like they said in Georgia, doing, they cut people's food stamps out. Woman got on TV. I got 4 kids. How I'm going to feed myself? These women have destroyed, along with the American government, the Democratic Party has destroyed neighborhoods all over America, and not just the people of color, the Caucasian, the Hispanic. They have destroyed Irish up in Boston. They destroyed neighborhoods everywhere, man. They have destroyed people everywhere. So
you know what though? I got this opinion. I understand that we do vote. We do vote, and we want something for our vote, and politicians should just do their jobs. But how do we get it to more of like, us doing for ourselves, us building, us starting to build?
Take a shot at that, Raj.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Roger that similar question as far as the Republican Party go. Like, how do we, if we do go about it that way, like how do we go about it that way to say we want to go about it particular party? Let's say the new wave is Republican, and we want to, stake a claim in something that's ours. How do we go about that? As far not trying to galvanize the people, but just go about it in a way where it does become a topic.
I think Roger's still there. Maybe he left. Rael, you still there?
I'm still here. I'm dealing with an emergency call. But
okay.
We ain't going to the final stages, did we?
No, no,
No,
we didn't. No, we didn't.
no.
Oh, okay.
We just threw something at you. Okay, you're gonna have to start over, Kev. Do it again. I know what you said though, but tell them what you asked.
No, 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 no. I was just saying, like, just kind of taking the ball out of the politicians' hands and starting to fortify locally. But it was like, what's his name was gonna, he had a spin on the question himself, and he said he was wanted to ask Roger. So,
Well, go ahead and ask the question.
Okay, the question was, how do you think? And I would say in this, if we get the money, what fields do we go in? Rob, I want you to answer that one next, because the first thing I'm thinking about is Booker T. Washington. I'm thinking about farming. So what would you propose, Roger, that what is the first direction we go in if they submit this $500 billion toward the community? What would be your first thing you say we should do?
Probably just right offhand, looking at how the world, looking at how America is right now, we probably have to go into some level of construction and start buying up properties and like lots and things like that, and start building for ourselves, so we can actually have our own neighborhoods that are actually controlled by us. That would probably be one of the first things outside of farming, because you already said farming. So I think that'll probably be the next thing. Start doing something to control our housing.
Okay, Rob.
I was going to say something similar. I was going to say definitely real estate. I would definitely say financial institutions, most definitely. Healthcare, big issue as far as Black people are concerned. It's a lot of money to make in the healthcare industry, $2.3 trillion industry. We definitely need to get some of that money. I would also say agricultural as well, and definitely tech. So those would be some of the first things I say we should focus on for sure.
And you know what's sad, Ra? Do you know that the tech that the Chinese and the Asians got, do you know the United States had that first and took it over to them and wouldn't even bring the jobs and the technology back over here? That was our shit. And then after the war, they took it over there and gave it to them, and they perfected it in such a way that they still gonna be a problem.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Many of these people, what they don't realize is, okay, so many of these administrations, Democratic administrations, were about suppressing Black people. So even if it meant building up foreigners, but you got to understand too that even when it came to Asians, like for example, like Chinese, like many of them looked down upon them too. So they thought that they, was the, dumb Chinese, they ain't gonna do nothing, whatever. I mean, if you look at some of the cartoons back in the day, they used to show Asians, in a very degrading way too. The problem is that they didn't realize what they were really dealing with. So it came back to bite them in the ass. So now it's funny how things work out, because you got this population of Black people. It's in your best interest to help build them up, because you might need them to help you fight these Chinese. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's in your best interest too. So, but because that situation has played itself out, Black people have an opening to get their shit together. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what it's about. Like, the thing about Black people is that you can't allow yourself to become expendable. Once you allow yourself to become expendable, you don't matter. You have no value. And for a lot of Black people right now, they don't have any value like that. So they need to get skill sets. They really do need to get skill sets, tap into these industries and stuff like that. I mean, people are out here creating a whole bunch of different shit out here as it relates to business and entrepreneurship. So, it's time to just, and even without the 500 billion now, I mean, there's all types of things that's set up in this economic structure that you can use to your benefit. Is the fact is just that Black people just are not interested in business and creating wealth like that, like other groups of people are, because they're constantly believing that the government has all the answers, which the irony is even government knows it doesn't have all the answers. This is why the government gives so much money to nonprofits so they can help solve some of the problems in the society, because the government can't solve all the problems. So Black people are just really behind the curve, in terms of wealth building, the nonprofit sector, which a lot of people utilize to help deal with some of the ills of society. Because sometimes people from a private perspective, they can actually bring about changes to certain things because of the less regulations that government money has. When government money is earmarked, it has a lot of rules attached to it. But when you can put some of this money in private hands, people can come up with much more diverse ideas to kind of solve certain problems. And that's where a lot of us come in at. I know for me, man, like I'm looking to tap into some of that. I've really been doing a lot of research on doing things like setting up group homes, for young boys and stuff like that, to try to answer some of these challenges. Because and this is just across the board, like in this environment, you got a lot of the meth, there are a lot of white kids who have literally lost their parents to ODs. And there's going to be a lot of kids, man, out here that are going to need some adult guidance and shit like that. So, there are opportunities out here that, we can not only make money, man, but affect change in a positive way. So some of these people, man, some of these kids, man, they ain't gonna never have parents again. So, but they still want to grow and they're going to need some answers. So that's where a lot of people like us can come in and really start affecting things in a positive way.
Yeah. And I was going to say something about that. First off, we need to take over the education of our children, because obviously they're being miseducated. Obviously, they need to be taught about the imagery that is being thrown at them, and they need to I agree with the skill sets argument too. I mean, it's only so far you can get with book sense. I mean, you got to know how to do some things, and you got to know how to sell yourself, and having some skill sets will help out a lot with that. Being more self-sufficient. Now, I mean, if they give us any money, shouldn't we invest? I mean, shouldn't we be smart about investing in a community? Like, down somewhere in South Georgia, there's Black people that's getting together and investing in land so they can, build their own town or build their own city.
Yeah, they bought some acres. How many acres did they get? Like 40? I know they got a lot of acres, man. They did get a lot of acres in Georgia.
Yeah. But do you see where some people are starting to go with this?
It's a fantastic idea. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I think what happened is we got lost along the way, and I don't have anything against like education and degrees, but it's like we were taught just to go get a piece of paper. We weren't taught to be self-sufficient and to be skillful and do things that can contribute to our communities across the country and across the diaspora. We were been more taught to be dependent on everyone, and that is to our detriment, believe it or not.
Actually, Raj, I read that in the book that Rael talks about, Up From Slavery. They said that in that book, that people didn't want to be farmers no more. At that time, everybody wanted to be a preacher. I was like, wow, they really played a game on us. Even back in the early 1900s, people did not want to become farmers no more. They wanted to become preachers because they saw that's where the money was. I got to give it to them. It took a while to do what they did, but they played some serious games to reverse that power, because the power was with us and we was fighting. But remember, they control the education system. So basically what all we're saying is right, from land to farming to education to finance to real estate. This is the one thing that I think that they was afraid of, because at one time we had this. Like I said, I saw the tail end of it, but I still had to get a nice juicy ass burger from a mall or pop burger joint. And this shit was good. Milkshakes. My money was spent Black at one time in my life. I'm telling you. And then King fought for us to sit at damn Woolworth. It wasn't even Walmart yet. It was called Woolworth. And we took all that shit just to transfer money over. I say it to this day. How did we give that power up of our own shit? I just don't see how.
When people are afraid, they will willingly give up their rights and their options.
Okay.
I mean, I added the options part, but the saying is when people are afraid, they'll willingly give up their rights.
Look,
you know.
I got slave narratives of black. I've seen it mostly from women, but literally saying that if they could go, they literally had been enslaved before, and then they got free, obviously, and they lived long enough to tell their story, their experience. And they literally said that if they could go back to the plantation, they would go back. And so now when I first came across this information, it blew my mind, because everything that I had been taught had told me that slavery was just the worst thing that ever happened. Well, when you hear from somebody in their own words who actually experienced it say that, it makes you take a step back and say, what has really been fed to me this whole time? And so there are people, there's this movie, I can't remember, I've been trying to remember the name of this Brazilian movie, I've been trying to find it. There's this movie, this Brazilian movie where this Portuguese guy, he's married to a Portuguese woman, and he has a slave. His wife dies, and so he tries to make the slave his wife, and she just rebelled, man. I mean, she rebelled against him. I mean, before she was his favorite slave, she did everything he asked her. She eventually ran away. So she was gone for about 10 years. He eventually married this other Portuguese woman, and she died. 10 years later, he comes back across this female that used to be a slave. He asks her to come back. And she agrees to come back, but she only agrees to come back under one condition, and that condition is she wanted to be his slave, not his wife.
Whoa!
So what I'm saying is that when people show you what they are and who they are, my experience in life is to believe them. It's to believe them and let it be. My only interest at this point is rolling with the people who want to build the institutions, who want to build the businesses, who want to build Wakanda in their mind, who really are about that. I'm not trying to convince anybody to be free that don't want to be free. I learned that lesson. I have been studying for a long time. I have given Black people plenty of books, and in my experiences, a lot of them do not want to be free. I know that goes against all the things that we've been taught about how bad the plantation was. But when I saw these narratives for my own eyes and saw when I saw women saying things like, I can't wait to die to get to heaven so I can see Master Johnson and his wife, it put things in a whole different perspective for me, because it let me know, like, okay, what we've been taught about this slavery piece ain't really what we thought it was. And even in my research, I found out that there were Black people who literally sold themselves back into slavery because they couldn't handle being free. They could go to court. And petition the judge, and they could even choose what slave owner they wanted. So this thing goes deep. This is why you can't identify with people just based on the fact you're Black, you got melanin. You got to look at what their values are, what their family values are. And then from there, their family values, and then if they got the family values, are they on some business stuff? Are they trying to create wealth? Things of that nature. Because that's what builds the overall society and ultimately the empires. That's pretty much it. You know, all this talk that we have out here is not without the context of major civilizations, man, are about getting money, because that shit matters. All these intellectual talks, they're great to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, man, you got to show me the damn money.
Yep.
I ain't trying to hit nothing else at this point.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what?
Uh,
It's part of that. It's part of being institutionalized. Just like they say you put a prisoner in prison for so long, then they
Yeah.
really can't operate in the world. Too much stuff has changed. They just not comfortable with it. The freedom gives them sweats. They wake up in the middle of the night. Same thing for a slave, because honestly, a slave never had to be responsible. And that's what a lot of people don't get. Slave, everything was dictated. You never had options. You never had to make a choice. You never had to deal with the pressures of, if I make the wrong choice, now I got to bounce back from this wrong choice. So for some people, they don't really want that freedom because they just don't want to handle it. They just rather deal with some. They just Well, the problem is they don't want to be in alignment with the people they give their freedom to. That's a problem in this in itself. Also, because if I say I'll be responsible for you, but then you don't want to listen to me, that turns into a whole other bag of problems. So, but yeah, it's a lot of people that just don't want their freedom because there is a certain amount of pressure that comes with freedom.
yeah, like you have to manage yourself. You have to lead yourself. You're not being led. Slaves had to be pointed in a certain direction in order to operate. That slave mentality. And one thing that I do find and I can relate to is when people get mad at you for not taking the bullshit. Have any of you ever run into that? It is like this wanting a black man to take the bullshit just cause. And when you don't, you'll find that you have more people against you than more people that are actually for you. Because when they take a stance, I mean, when they what how do I put it? With you sitting next to them, being an assertive person who has respect for yourself, I guess it makes them feel a bit insecure.
Hmm.
What it does to a certain degree. I'll put it like this: you're throwing something in their face that they don't want to really have to focus on. It's just like the successful man. If you happen to live on a block, like I use the example of a Derrick Rose, right? Because I grew up in Chicago. He grew up in Chicago. But if you live on the block where Derrick Rose grew up on, he made it. He's very successful now. If you aren't as successful, now you're looking for reasons why you can explain how the dude who grew up on your block is successful and you not. That puts like a certain amount of weight to them, at least from a mental standpoint. And I said not too long ago, if a lot of us had the option of finding a slave master, a lot of us will be trying to pick out the best slave master. And then here goes Marielle doing some research and literally found out that actually happened. You know, um, freedom is a tough deal. Me, I'm a pro freedom person, so I like freedom. I, I would feel much better dying under my own freedom than suffering through anybody else's direction of my life. If I die because I made the wrong choice, I can accept that. But I don't want to be under what somebody else wants me to do. Period.
Let me read something right quick. Let me read something right quick. Um, it's a couple excerpts. One, both of them by women. This woman lived to be 84. She said, I quote, before 2 years had passed after the surrender, basically the Civil War, there was 2 out of every 3 slaves who wished they was back with their masters. The master's kindness to the nigger after the war is the cause of the nigger having things today. There was a lot of love between master and slave, and there is few of us that don't love the white folks today. Slavery was better for us than things is now. In some cases, niggas then didn't have no responsibility, just work, obey, and eat. Number 2, the rest of the family was all fine folks and good to me, but I love Miss Ella better than anyone or anything else in the world. So this is a black woman talking about a white woman. She was the best friend I ever had. If I ever wanted for anything, I just asked her and she give it to me or got it for me somehow. I done lived to see 3 generations of my white folks come and go, and they're the finest folks on earth. Like I said, I'm gonna take it from the. I'm gonna take. I'm not. I'm not gonna listen to any of these Michael Eric Dysons and these people who, when they read something like that, they're gonna try to reinterpret. No, I'm gonna listen to the person who said it, because the person who actually had the experience is much more valid to say what the experience was. And if they said it wasn't as brutal as people been trying to sell it to us, I'm gonna listen to them because they actually had the experience. Because they damn sure say when they around us, oh, we're abusive, and it's not the case. But they'll say it. So what I'm saying is that we have to learn how to identify with people who have low grade mentalities that ain't ever going to change. We be sitting up here trying to save families. When you go into their family bloodline, man, there's all type of incest going on in that family, man. You ain't saving that shit.
That's real.
You ain't saving that bloodline. I read in this book where this woman said, their nature has a way of bringing together 2 bloodlines for the specific purpose of wiping both bloodlines out. He said nature. Now we can sit here and we can go back and forth all day long. I'm going to look at people who are trying to do better in life, who got a plan, who when somebody put $500 billion on the table, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to take some of that stuff and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make some businesses happen. I'm going to work with them. I ain't sitting here trying to convince, especially no grown-ass black men, to want $500 billion. Nigga, if you don't want it, hey, it's all good with me. I'll take it. But the time for, because a lot of times, like when we see or hear stuff like that, our sensibilities based on the Roots movie we watch, because we watched the Roots movies, and even though that was a plagiarized story too,
sure was.
That was a plagiarized story too. It wasn't true.
Bastard.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We feel all bad because we think we got a monopoly on slavery. Man, if you do the research, you're gonna see that black people do not have a monopoly on slavery. We ain't the only ones that's been in it. We done put people in it before ourselves when we rule shit. So we don't have a monopoly on it. But the way that it's sold to us, it's sold to us like it's romantic. Like we romanticize being whipped and shit. Nah, man. The people that went in that experience, I'm gonna listen to their words. And I know the Michael Eric Dysons and all these people who do all this research, got all these white liberal institutions at their disposal to do all the research. I know they seen that shit too, and they ain't never said a word. If I found it, and I'm just a layman doing research, I know they found it. Why they ain't say nothing? Because it don't support the narrative that they want to keep trying to sell. If I see that it was some black people that sold themselves in slavery, I have to take that into account too. If I see that there were some black people who owned slaves during slavery too and supported the Confederacy, man, I got to take that shit into account too. I can't just talk about the white man. I got to see it all. Then I can make a more informed position on history and things like that. Because if we keep allowing ourselves to be feeling sorry for everybody and we got to save everybody, we ain't gonna save nobody.
I mean, but I'm gonna say this: there should never be a disregard for what black people went through. I mean, it's. But I understand what you're saying is how we move forward. Is we can look back all day, but it's how we move forward. So I do understand in that sense, but that's I feel like a history that should always be documented and acknowledged when it's appropriate.
Well, I'm gonna say this. A woman gave her view of slavery. There was nothing that lets me know slavery was as bad for women as it was for men. So I can get her having that perspective. I mean, even in today, I say on my show on a regular basis that most sisters are white supremacists. So at the end of the day, they've never been treated the way we've been treated. It's a whole different world for them than it is for us from on a general level. So I can see a woman having that perspective about slavery, and I can see a woman who still wants white folks to control their moves and not black men, because that's the same thing we're dealing with
right now.
Right now, it makes all the sense in the world to me. Now, when it comes to this $500 billion, though, my thing is, if people don't want it, leave more. Just leave your piece over there. Let my piece of the pie be a little bit bigger because you don't want your slice. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, share the wealth with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna turn the money down. You know what I mean? I just need to know how to get a piece. And my thing is, would they give us an actual piece, or would they give us a controlled piece? Because, like I said, usually when people try to give us something, they don't really want to give it to you. They want to give it to a white-owned institution and tell you how to access X, Y, and Z. Are you gonna give us the money or not? That's what I'm really looking at. But I will say, this is the first time I heard somebody even say, "Hey, we can give you some money." Because when you pay attention to it, most folks ain't told they can give us anything. Well, you know, we'll get around to making some promises. Usually you can't even get a promise. It'll be, we'll get around to making you a promise, which is what the Democrats pulled again.
But and it's funny though, Roger, when you was a little child, they was doing the same shit then, except they was using people like James Brown, Al Sharpton, the Cornel Wests at the younger days. These people, as he said, the Michael Dysons, they're a joke now because, you know, if it look like shit and smell like shit, it's shit. They can't talk to us no more. This is why they're very upset that brothers have begun to think, not just walked away, just start thinking and voicing their opinion. You brothers cannot imagine how much shit I took in the 70s, in the 80s, talking like you guys are talking now. Was called so many niggas. It was a shame. And I never liked the word. I never used the word. Till this day, sometimes, Rod, you'll say the words and I will cringe because you really couldn't say it when I was young. A white boy even thought about saying it. You can just see the fear in his face. And they ruled in. But you can just see if they said it while I was around, you could see guys who were total strangers, brothers who were total strangers, all of a sudden was ready to unite and beat the shit out of you. But somehow they made it popular. And think about what I'm saying. I saw it in the book. I don't know if it was Bill Gates, but I do add him in on this. They said, in quote, we're going to make a lot of money off this word niggas. This is where all these rappers come in. All of them. Because that's all they talk about. Murder, kill, murder. And then added kill a nigga. Didn't say nothing about kill a white boy. Now, I'm not advocating killing y'all. I'm just saying what I heard and what the music industry made money off of. I ain't talking about killing nobody. I say it again, but it's in the music. They sell it every day. If you want to get on somebody, go to the people who are making this type of money. Now, if they're going to print up this money and everything you said, Rael, the rest of the brothers, we can do this, man, that'll be what they say in the Bible, heaven on earth. Mm-hmm. It would be nice to come to a restaurant where I see nothing but us. No problems, which I've seen it before. Just a bunch of us laughing, smiling, and enjoying life. Till this day, when I came to this country, all my dentists were brothers. Bro, I ain't go to nobody. I don't like nobody in my mouth cleaning my teeth. I don't like going to different people. I always tried to break bread with my people because that's the way it go. But even with that, Rael, I was called nigga. Dude, I had my own line of clothing before Fubu had it. Dude, I had a dude from Georgia just basically said, what kind of nigga am I? And I said this story before, but I still say it. What kind of nigga am I to have a dream? I couldn't even get mad at the brother. I wanted to, but I realized, guess who he was raised by? His mother. Dad wasn't in his life. So I know where it came from. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So all right. We got a long way to go in a short time, but I'll take on that challenge. They drop that money, Raj. I'll take that challenge every day. Let's do it.
All right. Well, let me get some shout outs in the chat. Shout out to the Hood Conservative. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Donnie. Long live the habitual line steppers. From You Ain't Shit for Watching. Go check his channel out, and shout out to Zero for dropping this knowledge. First thing Zero says: there is no world where accepting welfare money gives you any control whatsoever. The opposite is true. Whatever welfare you accept puts you under the thing giving you the welfare, especially when there are certain specific requirements that that you need to meet before they give you said welfare. So yeah, I do agree with that. And he also says if our political agenda is to gain power through welfare money, we will not win. Begging for power is not a weapon. Weapons are weapons. Weapons are weapons.
Okay. I mean, that's real talk. That's real talk.
That's war talk. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, the fact, but think about it, y'all. The fact that there are so many black men that are willing to listen to the Republicans, even many who are saying that they will vote Republican. Black people didn't ask for $500 billion. He put it on the table.
Yep.
So that just goes to show you, man, when you're not just giving away your vote and you're actually using your vote to leverage some shit, you can actually get some shit.
Oh yeah. Also, let me real quick. Zero, thanks for the super chat. He said he meant to super chat that statement, but we acknowledged it nonetheless, and it's cool shit, man. And this is the second time he super chatted me, so once again, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks you for the support. But go ahead.
Yeah, we have to. The one thing we have to realize, like, okay, so Napoleon said this years ago. The hand that giveth is always more powerful than the hand that receiveth. That's true. But also, when you fight in a war, you do need allies too. Our fight is a lot different than other groups. So if we think that we're going to be out here and not have any alliances, that's crazy. We are going to have some alliances. That's just a part of doing business. You know what I'm saying? When you're in business, you might be in business, man, with people you can't stand, but that check is the ultimate goal, not whether you like those people. There's a show called, I think it was House of Lies with Don Cheadle.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Great. I love that shit. And there was an episode where they were doing business with this company that was headed by this white guy. He was racist. And every time he used to speak, the white guy would just completely just ignore him. And he owned the company, but he had a white chick that was with him. So when they took a break, he said, look, hey, this guy, he racist. He don't like me. He's not going to listen to me. He said, so you take the lead and you walk him down to where we need him to go so we can get this money. And man, she did exactly that. She walked the dude down. Every time she said something, he was all on, yeah, that's great. And man, that dude signed the deal. But if he would have took on it like, man, it's my company, man, he wouldn't have got that money. We gotta learn how to strategize, man, to get what we want. It's not gonna ever be a perfect setup. But we can't have this paralysis of analysis. Well, yeah, he put the money out, but do he really like black people? I don't give a shit if he like me. I don't give a care. I don't care if they got him on tape saying 100 niggas in a minute. If he cut that check, I'm taking it. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking that shit.
And that's real. And you know what? I got to say, anybody who hears this this particular show, y'all really need to watch the movie The Banker. It's some lessons in The Banker.
It's a good movie.
The stars with Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson.
It's not on Prime Amazon. What is it on? Showtime?
No, it came out in the movie theater right before COVID hit.
I thought they didn't release that movie. I thought they wasn't going to release it.
No, I
Never
saw it in
heard
the
of it.
show right before COVID hit. I saw it in the show right before COVID hit. I'm
Yeah, it's
assuming you
based
better
on a true story.
stream. Yes, but it was
I
black
gotta
people
look that
about
up.
their money. So
Okay.
it's something people really do need to watch. Like real talk, you need to watch that particular movie and see
All right,
how
Raj.
black people move when they're about getting this money. Don't
And
let all.
say it again for them, Roger. I'm sorry.
Well, the movie is called The Banker. It came to theaters right before COVID hit, but I'm
It's on
assuming at this point
Netflix.
you probably could. Yeah, you probably could stream it. You say it's on Netflix, Donnie?
Oh, it was on Netflix at one point.
And they took it off because I can't find it on Netflix. And I gotta cancel that shit.
I watched it. Yeah, it was a big controversy about it, and then I ain't hear nothing else about it after that. I remember flying in from maybe from Dallas to I had to do some training in Dallas to Philly where I was living at the time. So I watched it then. That was a great fucking movie. It was a really good movie, and it didn't rely on the white savior complex, which is the typical thing for a black movie, to where you got a black man doing some things, but he's got to go get a white friend, or some white man has to put him on. No. This was a brother who said, "I'm gonna go out and go do this shit."
Don't tell the whole movie, man. Let them see it.
Yeah, I was gonna listen. I wanted to listen to it. I was gonna let him tell it.
I wasn't gonna tell you everything, but yeah, it's not a white savior movie.
Okay.
No imaginary white man comes in to save the day.
So Jesus ain't coming. That's what you're telling me. Jesus ain't coming. Jesus ain't coming.
The real Jesus, the one with that be here and brown skin, that nigga's coming.
Oh, you know what? It looks like it is on Apple TV. I don't know if you got access to Apple TV.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's on Apple.
So you got to buy the subscription for Apple. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm watching that. I got it.
So
the way I get down is if I can't find it on one of the two streaming apps, I have an app that you can pull up everything, or you can go to a website called solarmovies.to, and that will pretty much give you all the new TV shows, movies, etc.
Solo, SOLO.
Back chat it. Yeah, I dropped that on there.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Donnie, what's going on, guy?
Man, I'm trying to. Nigga got sick, so I'm trying to get over it. But what's going on?
Word. No. I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Roger when he first got here. It's hard, difficult. If you want to decline from answering it, I understand.
Hell.
Okay, and here's the question: Are facts?
I'm sorry, I just looked at Donnie's name. That's all. I just saw his name this time.
Okay, but are facts stubborn things?
Are facts what?
Stubborn things.
They're facts. It's an immovable wall. So you come up across a fact, that's just what it is. So I guess you can call it stubborn, but a fact is an immovable wall. So yes, it's stubborn, quote unquote.
Okay, man. What would be the problem with facts, especially how it relates to these kinds of conversations?
It hurts people's feelings.
Feelings?
People get feelings. Yeah, people get emotional. They don't know how to deal. But that's pretty much it. Facts are facts. You got to get over the emotional wall and just take it for what it is and deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And how counterproductive is that for us as a people to get to some resolution when we have intelligent dialogue? It's really counterproductive.
With some smart brothers, I'm starting to believe there's some hope there. But there's been many a time where I've been like, this bitch, this motherfucker, the truth hurt you, huh? When they be like, who hurt you? The truth hurt him. The truth hurt her. So people will do anything they can to avoid the truth. They're because it brings accountability. It means they have to put the blame on themselves for certain things. Truth is a hard motherfucker.
Yeah, and here's my thing. The truth, once you deal with the truth and once you deal with the facts, you only have to deal with it one time. I mean, you have to you have to put up an effort to keep up a jaded opinion or a lie. So, I mean, doing something really hard and it only takes a few seconds versus years and years of bullshit. I think the decision should be pretty easy right there, but bullshit is bullshit for a reason.
When it's bullshit, you can kind of pretend it. When you want to bullshit, you can kind of pretend stuff doesn't exist, stuff isn't there. But in my personal life, the truth has always been a guiding factor. It'll get you ahead. So if you know the truth is this, that, and the third, then you have the ability to be prepared for it at the very least. A lot of people will try and deny it, and then they hit a brick wall because the truth is immovable.
You know what though? You know what though? You know what I don't like? I don't like this escapism right here. Is that when people say their truth, that's your truth. This is my truth.
That means I can't handle the truth. Therefore, I need to create a narrative that fits me or makes me feel better about lying to myself.
Oh, okay. So why can't people accept facts, and why can't people accept? I mean, you already answered that question though. And
Yeah.
okay. As far as okay, they gave us this this platinum plan, which is a horrible name, is something that is tangible for blacks. What would you suggest that we do? Say that they put the ball in black men's hand. How do you suggest we go about running it into the end zone?
You have to back that. You have to backtrack on that. What about the platinum plan? If the platinum plan is what?
500 billion.
What if it was something actually tangible for black men? And
Okay,
for the black
if it was something tangible, because it's not. So if it was something that was actually useful to the black community, that was specific to us, what should we do about it? How should we move? What's the question?
How should we move?
So at that point,
some suggestions were, we need to, invest in some land. I said maybe we need to take over our education.
So at that point, let's say we get reparations, because my thing is, at that point, we need to all rally around Donald Trump and get that motherfucker in office. All this booty to the pole shit needs to be put right back out and angled at getting this motherfucker in office. If he's giving us tangibles, if he's giving us, reparations, if he's giving us the CWB, which let's just call it that, if he gives us Ice Cube's actual plan, then yeah, we should get in there. And once we get the money should be going into education, businesses, the black community as a whole, community building actual communities, buying up land, putting an all black neighborhood, and out in Georgia, I'm sure there's a plot of land that they could buy somewhere, pave out all black area. They can go out to Omaha, go buy all black area, and build that up. Black people need to start buying their own everything. Shit, I think we need to realistically stop spending so much money, or not so much. Stop forcing it down the throats of children that they must go to college, and start preparing them for the real world. The real world, college is not
skills.
Trades.
Right. So lung capacity. College is not a full answer for them, right? Trades. We need to get on trades. We need to get on small businesses. There's niche environments. There's plenty of vocational skills that white people have, based on them being on the good old boys club. Like I told you before, black people don't understand. Non-destructive technician is one of them. That's a job where you go get a couple weeks certification and you can make $250,000 a year. Imagine, this is not a heavily black inundated field. So black people need to start putting this out there and building up our own community with that millions of dollars. And I just recently heard, son, was it you who said that, Roger? Go out and go get life insurance policies.
No, that wasn't me who said life insurance policies.
Oh,
but that was something somebody said that on the internet. They call that generation wealth. Yeah.
Go out and go start getting these life insurance policies, because when black people start knocking off, It's these white people gonna be real pissed off. Police get shot by the police, that family's gonna get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million, and then they gonna
They'll
get
stop it. They'll stop it. They'll stop that shit then quick.
So yeah, this woo, it's a lot, but that money should be ultimately invested inside of our community. The moment that gets announced, hopefully one of these black rappers, the investors, the Diddy, starts up multiple banks, and they say, hey, listen, we understand you are a black family in a black world, in a black environment. Here is a black bank. Have your check deposited into this black bank. You will have access to it immediately. There will be no funny business, and we will. That's going to push us that much further. We have a black bank, and they drop $500 billion in reparations into it. Do you understand what that would do to these white folks out here?
Well, you know what? I might do my show on reparations tomorrow morning because I actually got a plan. I actually got a plan that I believe white people could even accept.
White people can't accept shit.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm not saying they're gonna do it. I'm not saying they're gonna do it.
Opened up a black bank, didn't he? So imagine if all the black people in Killer Mike's in Atlanta, I think. So if all the black people in Atlanta opened up a black bank or went to that black bank and gave them money, what do you think that would do to the white folks of the world?
Shut it down.
It will cause them a problem because I bank black now. You know what I'm saying? My money's already in the black bank. And, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of my friends, they money in black banks too. I encourage black people in general to put their money in black banks. You and a lot of folks, even with folks who say, well, this bank don't have as much as that bank. This is the way I look at it. If you bank with one of the biggest companies out here, who are you to them? How many millions does it take for you to be somebody to them? Well, if you bank at a smaller bank, how many millions would it take for you to be somebody to them? You see what I'm saying? You probably get better service if you $10 million at a smaller bank than $10 million at a bigger bank. They'll take you a little bit more serious.
But let me just put this in your head, right? $500 billion goes into all black banks. Those black banks then take all that money and start providing black people with loans for businesses, houses, etc. down the line. This is a domino effect. Once you put that money into that bank, the dominoes start rolling. Black wealth is going to come down. It won't be white people looking at us crazy anymore. It'll be niggas around with spinning rims who own shit at this point.
Let me drop some on y'all. Y'all know that Michael Jordan and the rest of these dudes, they could have done that, but I still think that they had a little contract that they can't build. I still to this day don't understand how can y'all be millionaires and y'all can 20 of y'all can pool together and y'all can rule something. Now, let me throw a curveball at you again, and this is some up and coming shit. Most of you guys who got your money in the bank, you at least need to hold 80% of that money with you. You are your fucking best bankers. Why? Because the damn system is going to collapse. I want y'all to all I'm doing is dropping a little salt just to put a seed in your mind. So when you out and walking or running or whatever you're doing, let me go investigate what he's talking about. Because these banks are going to fold already in New York. Some people are going to get their money. And then these people saying, what you need your money for? Ain't nothing worse than go and get some money out the bank and itch tells you, well, what you want for? None of your goddamn business. Give me my damn money. What the fuck? So you must look at the system. This is why now Trump has that Federal Reserve, because guess who owns America? The Chinaman. He's got to drop that Fed Reserve dollar so they can start over reset, because he said it. If Biden wins, guess who rules again? Y'all got to go see it. I'm just saying I'm kind of further down the road. I'm coming back. I'd rather for this election to get over, and then I'm going to sit back and I want to see how this chess game is going to play out, because it's going to get ugly.
I mean, also, here's what people like, getting back to Cube. He literally says that what his plan is a contract for Black America. And the reason why he's saying that is that the Democrats keep saying people of color, people of color, people of color, and that still puts black people at the back of the line. So, he knows that saying POC or people of color means black people still get nothing. So he had to be that specific. Why aren't we getting behind this? Just because
well, I got a question for you though, Kel, because I'm gonna say, who fault is it? Tell me this, man. Now, somebody help me when it comes to the name of millions. Doesn't billions come next after millions? I am correct on this, y'all, right? Okay, then tell me this.
Exactly.
How does a culture in America alone consumes over $1 trillion in product and ain't got shit? Help me to understand that. We really don't need the damn billions, because if we consume it, bastards stop consuming the money and turn the money back toward each other. You just can't win like that when you consume over $1 trillion.
It's not going to happen because a lot of that money is in the hands of the females, and their shopping habits are emotionally based. So a lot of that money is going to be liquid money, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in other groups, if you look at other groups, when those women work, that money is turned over to the men in their group and it's invested. It's invested in businesses. Whenever you see an Indian man, I don't give a damn if it's at Dairy Queen or if it's at owning a hotel. A lot of times you're gonna see his wife right there with him.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody just thinks that everybody looks at a lot of black men as being defective, but the reality of the situation is no man in America outside, even with these white men, a lot of times when they made their money, most of them were married. They had somebody that they were with that allowed them to take the risk, because men, that's what we do. We're supposed to take the risk because we're not risk averse. Women tend to be security first over risk. That's why a lot of women don't invest. So those men could take those chances. So if they failed at that business endeavor, they could come back, regroup, because they had their wife to lean on, and then try it again. So when you start talking about that collectivity, the reason why I like this money being put on the table is specifically because you don't have to wait for that. If you got a plan to do some business, man, you ain't gotta wait for these chicks to get their mind right. Hey, man, that's on them.
Yep.
You saying you get that money, it gets put in your hand. We've seen this already with the PPP loans and stuff like that. Man, people was out here getting money. They was investing in businesses, man. They wasn't playing. So we've already seen a little bit of it anyway. So to me, like I said before, we don't really for the men who want to be productive and thinking forward, thinking and stuff like that. It's not really an argument for us. Like it for us, it's just a matter of, hey, man, when the money gonna hit. But when that money hit, then we all gonna do what we say we gonna do. But for the other people, just think about it. Go back to when y'all remember when that Donald Sterling shit happened. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So remember how there was so many black people telling them to boycott, saying, "Man, y'all shouldn't go to work." And I'm sitting there like, you telling people who making millions of dollars not to go get paid? Now, it's funny because when these same people are making $7-8 an hour and they getting treated like crap on their job, you don't see them boycotting that goddamn job. And my point is that every response, man, can't be emotional when it comes down to doing business. This is very critical, man. This is business, man. This is not about emotions, man. This is about putting them emotions to the side. I don't care. We can feel that shit all day long. Man, y'all think when Booker T. Washington, man, was around them white folks, man, you think some of them white folks ain't say nigga around him? Mm-hmm. You think the white folks ain't call him a nigga? Guess what?
Yeah,
he took that goddamn money, though. He took that money.
Hey, Rael, I was gonna say, Rael, you read the book to where there was a millionaire. I don't know if it was Carnegie Actually, Booker T. Washington had access to millions of dollars. He gave him the bank account and everything, and the bank had to give him the money when he went and got it.
Yep. Carnegie will put like a $1 million in that account, and after a year he'd be like, "Go collect the interest. Go get it."
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, like ain't gonna never be no perfect. Like we gotta get. First of all, man, this is these black females' mentality. They be looking for a perfect world to exist that ain't never existed. Humans have always been in conflict with other humans. So sides didn't like each other. But guess what though? Man, at the same time, man, the United States, man, will invite their own enemies, come in, have dinner, talk about things. Like, this is what it's about. This is what it's always been about. You got to sit at the table. If you get a seat at the table, you can't say, man, I don't want to come in because I don't like you. Man, do you know how petty and small that make black men look?
Yeah.
That make black men look weak as fuck. I don't like him, so I ain't going to talk to him. What? Come on, bro. Nah.
Well, but you also know Steve Harvey said this, like when Trump first became president, is like when the man in charge calls, you got to respond to it.
He did.
I mean,
right.
But I don't even like the way he said that. People need to understand what their actual power is. The president is your employee, point blank, period. And people need to start acting like the president is your employee. You own the government. If you're a taxpayer citizen or you're a child of a taxpayer citizen, the government belongs to you. Treat it as such. Stop letting them do whatever they want to do without having your input. Ice Cube was smart enough to go to them with a plan instead of just waiting on everybody to give him a plan to pick from. And that makes all the sense in the world to me. I don't know why other people ain't done it, but I know that's what I believe in.
I'm gonna throw something at both of them.
And I made a Facebook post recently, and it was something to add on just like that. It was like, I was just touching some feelings because I know how touchy people are on Facebook. But anyway, the post was like, now people mad at Ice Cube. I thought bosses meet at the round table. Just something simple like that. And it's like, it just makes me, it's like so disappointing to where we at in this stage where it's like, people don't want to claim nothing at all. Just keep following blindly behind nothing. Like we haven't gotten anything from all of this stuff that we've been parading around, and we're supposed to keep going about the same thing over and over and over. It's like, it's sad, man. At the same time,
Black people think that in order for you to have any kind of business or politics, you're supposed to like that person. Like, you're supposed to have an emotional response of, he's a nice guy, I like him. And to be honest with you, none of that shit fucking matters. I can hate your fucking guts. As long as you do what I need you to do, then you're the best person for the job. And that's part of the problem with black people and how they see Ice Cube. They just hate Trump. Okay, but Ice Cube was able to go over there and have a conversation with this man where he wasn't able to do that with Biden. So I don't like either one of these motherfuckers, but I have respect for Trump than I do for Biden at this point.
Oh, y'all gonna trust me.
Even Kanye sat at the table. It's been a lot of people that sat at the table with him. So
they dogged Kanye out for this. So let me throw this at y'all too, because we're talking about that economics now. But I don't know how you guys troll the internet, but there is a show coming out of New York. Now, maybe this might be you guys' first time hearing it from me. There's a plan that's also on the table under the Trump cabinet. It's one of them is called Nasara Grosara. Actually, it's funny because the military actually had Bill Clinton at gunpoint and forced him to sign this years ago. Barry Sotoros, aka Barack Obama, knew about it too. This is tied in. Now, y'all heard it here. For the next 10 years, since a lot of this corruption's going on, they're supposed to give each and every American citizen for the next 10 years over $100,000. Now, I don't know if it's true, but I do know this, is that Nancy Pelosi keeps fighting everything this man is trying to do. Even Wolf Blitzen had to go off on her the other day when he said, yo, lady, the people are starving. But she's such a and I'll say it on the internet and YouTube, she's a stubborn jackass. And she should be relieved of her damn job. The problem is, Rob, is these goddamn women that's in the way of people trying to survive. They are literally trying to kill people. Don't forget about the FEMA camps, y'all, and the caskets. They really don't want these people us to survive. So I'm telling you this now. This is what I've heard, that they're actually trying to give people money for the next 10 years because they did close everything when Trump got in. So it is about this money. And I can ask this question and y'all all know the answer. What makes the world go round? Moolah, money, cheese, cheddar. If this man allows us to build, guess what we're going to do, y'all? We're going to build. Because it's fun. It's fun building, man. It is. It's literally fun. That's why I don't play video games. I can't. I'd rather do something. So it's fun to build.
Well, I'm sorry. You're going to have to be a little alone on that fact right there, sir. But you know, that's cool. But hey, let me share the screen real quick. I want to show y'all something. And I'm not doing this just to be smug or anything. But this is something I posted in my community tab. So go check out my community tab, people. You know, I try to put some very interesting things. So let me see. All right. I want y'all to take a look at something real quick. All right, that. Okay, the question is, remind me which one is sellout again. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to vote on the bottom one. That's for sure. That is Kamala Harris. That is Kamala, right?
Yeah, that's her. That's her. I don't know. They're gonna try to say Blackett is in his family somewhere, like they did David Lemieux, and you know.
God.
Roger said it on the phone.
She can't be a sellout because she ain't black. She just period point blank. Ain't nothing to sell out.
She's East Indian, but I think Roger said it on his show the last time. People don't trust her. They don't like her. And I said this, and I've learned to remember one thing about life is, thank you, life is about education. I've learned the fact that this lady, in her promiscuous ways, from the Honorable Judge Joe Brown, stated in quote, this lady worked a 15-hour job a week and got paid $72,000. I ain't hating, but damn, that's nice, man. $72,000 for 15 hours a week. That's good.
Yeah, but let's put it like this, Donnie. You're talking about the literal you're talking about the literal part of it. You know, if you're saying she's not black in the beginning, but let's put the context that everyone is trying to match up to this with Kamala Harris. They consider her to be as black as Jimmy Walker, as black as Lupita Nyong'o, as black as what's that guy from Amistad? They she might as well have the darkest skin on the fucking planet as far as people are concerned. Let's put it in that context. So that means she is looking like a sellout.
She's as black as Rachel Dolezal. Let's just call a spade a spade. She's as black as Rachel Dolezal.
Okay. But of course, they're running various campaign ads saying that, this is a black woman and, they even got brothers, like if you watch like some YouTube ads that pop up, they even got brothers that well dressed in suits saying that, oh, I'm excited a black woman could be the first, black woman vice president, blah, 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 which is all propaganda. But
of course,
if we're going to look at what these people have actually done as far as black people in the black community, and what's good for us and what's best for us, why are you ignoring the fact that Kamala Harris locked up so many brothers?
I mean, Kamala Harris ain't got a chance to get my vote. I could just tell you that right now. She ain't got a shot in hell to get my vote. And I'm pretty sure any brother that's in the know, she ain't getting a vote either. And she ain't finna get these white women votes. So all that's
Roger's a
over with.
misogynist. He don't want to vote for a black woman. He's a misogynist.
You know what?
She ain't black, but she ain't black.
Yeah, you can say that for that black woman I don't want to vote for. I can definitely say that, because I don't vote for misandrous.
But she went to HBCU.
She went to Howard, but they
She's a
still don't count.
soror.
Her culture is you supposed to respect your culture. If she'd have said that, she'd have been all right. But she threw us straight up on the bus. I'm black. Like, wow, man. And honestly, we ain't black. We're indigenous to the land. But they keep playing us with these semantic words, man. It's like, fuck, man. They keep doing it over and over for centuries. They've been doing this shit. Same thing.
I'm just saying, she's a black woman.
Has anybody
who
ever
went to
told
HBCU. Yeah, she's a black woman. She went to a HBCU, and she's sorority sisters with Rachel Doe. So you can't get much blacker than that.
Come on, okay. Come on, Donnie. If her mama East Indian and her daddy is East Indian, in respect to the culture, she is East Indian. She is.
But let me make a point real quick. Even with that, even with looking at the screen and seeing this, a guy who married the black woman that's been down with him from day one, had a black family, um, had supported supported leaving something for his kids, and then you see the bottom. You would actually be surprised to believe that a lot of black people, especially voters, are more so siding with her, even though she has a horrible political record, than they are with him. See, this is the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter what the facts are to some of us. It really doesn't. I mean, it may matter to myself. It may matter to the people that are on this panel. It may even matter to the people in the chat. But generally, it doesn't matter. All these people know us. We got to get the orange-haired racists out of office. And you're willing to smite your brother who only wants to help just to see that bitch at the bottom get in office.
Yo,
now,
you know why? Because I hate to cut you off, but I was going to say, because Kamala Harris, she wears Timberland. She rock Timbs, yo.
I mean,
vote for Kamala. She rocks Timbs, yo.
Them Dems.
They don't even wear Timbs no more. These bitches wear
bag.
Uggs nowadays, man. They don't even wear Timbs no more, man.
And then tell it, they used to call me Joey B. Cardi B, Joey B.
I'm done. Oh my, I'm done. I'm done. This is embarrassing in the 21st century. It's look like our culture. The way y'all saying it now, and I'm looking at it, it's like we're going backwards, man.
No.
Wow.
No, that's not it. That's not it, Gerald. What we're realizing is that what we thought was a us or we didn't exist. The only reason why this us or we thing has existed is because black men have been asleep for so long politically. It's not a coincidence that this apple cart is being turned over as more black men become politically awakened again. Black men collectively have just been politically asleep. It never was this. When you go back to the generations of our great grandfathers and uncles and people like that, man, they didn't accept this shit. Number one, those men were family first. They were not black first. They were family first. And they only aligned themselves with people who were family first, who had good values and things like that, which meant that they wanted their sons and daughters to marry into families of that type of nature. There used to be black men who used to roll around in cities, and if you was a ratchet type family, man, they will make you pack your shit and move. That shit used to exist. You know what I'm saying? But again, black men got put into that that sleep, man. And so we did all these things, because think about it. When you just look at the platform, none of this stuff, man, is for the advantage of Black men. So when you look at it and you look at the policies and you say, well, damn, well, why have these Black men been voting all this time for policies that keep them in such a subjugated position? It's because it's been manufactured over the course of, I would say, over 100-something years. I would say probably since the 1870s. I would say probably since the 1870s. And we're just now, from somewhat of a collective standpoint, of starting to wake up. But that's just now, recently, the last 10 years. But this is what it's been. Like, we're the only group in the United States, man, that is female dominated like that. We're the only group.
Which is why they never wanted us to be able to read, so we wouldn't figure out the stuff we're figuring out now. And as the great Dave Chappelle said, that's why, you know, they should have never gave you niggas money. Why? Because niggas gonna start thinking. Niggas gonna start waking up. Niggas gonna start being Black men. Niggas gonna start voting for their own interests instead of the interest somebody telling them they supposed to have. And that's what's going on. We are waking up. You know. So I agree with you, Ryan, 100%. And you know, my thing is people better keep on moving. Because like I said, I'm a person, I like to vote for third party. It's a lot of candidates this year, but I'm looking into all of them because that's just what I want to do. But when I look between Biden and Trump was a clear winner between just them two. I don't care what nobody says. He's definitely better than Biden. What's up?
Hey, Roger, since you gave us such a great observation, I'm going to do something for you, sir. I got something for you.
Oh, Lord.
Here you go.
Hey, Pianki and Rael, do y'all know who that is? Pianki and Rael, do y'all know who that is?
Ain't that Brittany Cooper?
Yep. Yeah. Pianki, do you know who that is?
I think that's the comedian lady, isn't it?
Nah.
No, that's not
That's Gerald's baby mama. Why you think that man went up to Canada? That man had to get away.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who it is for real. I'll tell you who it is for real. Somebody who shouldn't open their goddamn mouth. I mean, you know, I'm just saying this is the third time I've showed this picture, and I mean, I'm just having a little fun with it. But
no,
still,
Kevin, tell a story. Kevin, tell a story. Kev, tell a story. Go ahead.
Tell the story. What she said?
Yes, what she said.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's go back to it. There it is. This is what sparked all of that. I'm reminded that in the 19th century, Black women used sex strikes to make sure that brothers didn't vote against Black interests, which is to say, there has always been this rogue Black male element among us, and sisters have always been on point. Anyway, I've said enough today. You need to throw that whole goddamn garbage ass statement away. Seriously, let's break this down.
Really fly like that.
Yeah, I'm saying, bro, that's man. Do you know the levels of disrespect you have to have for that woman to carry this message?
That woman. What woman would that be? You're talking about? I can't put these pictures in order.
Her name, and sex have no relevancy. The word sex and her have no relevancy at all.
So she can't show up at your door butt naked with a pork chop wrapped around. My tinky Roger. She can't do it.
You know what? That would be a waste of a pork chop. Would be an absolute waste of a pork chop. Why would you do that to a pork chop? That's all I would be saying.
I'm sorry, but I mean, she deserved this. You should see our broadcast on what we did to Simone Sanders. So I mean, that was a fun night.
You're crazy, man.
Oh God. Oh God. But yeah, it's about that time, gentlemen. it's getting a little tired, and it's been a couple,
Okay.
almost 2.5 hours. So let's get some final statements going.
I don't want to go behind Pimp Roger or Rael because I know they bringing it. So I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna get off. I'm serious, because they getting y'all getting good. Y'all getting good. So I'm gonna say gold. Gold is too expensive. I'm gonna say buy some silver. Investigate cryptocurrency. You might as well. It's not gonna hurt to do it. Look at finances and stay positive. That's what I want to say to my brothers. All right.
I appreciate you, Gerald.
All right, man.
You,
all right, peace.
as always. All right. Who's going next?
Now, is that you with the noise in the background?
Oh, my bad. I thought I was on mute.
Okay. All right. So we are giving final statements. So any one of you can go next.
I don't even know the topic of the show other than lies.
It was pretty much an open discussion.
Okay.
And I mean, the title of the show was Facts Are Stubborn Things.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a new video I'm about to release. I'm just trying to fine tune it. Y'all be sure to be on the lookout for it. This video, it's more or less been requested. So request fulfilled. Y'all have a wonderful day.
All right. And of course, Donnie's channel is You Ain't Shit for Watching. Go check him out over there. All right. And thanks for stopping by. Who's next?
I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on and learn some stuff and just voice my opinion and things like that. Once again, I thank you guys for the opportunity and keep doing what you're doing. I'll make sure to follow each and every one of you if I'm not already following you already. But shout out to everybody once again, and thanks. One love.
All right, thanks to you, Absalon, Pianki, and whenever there's an open panel on this channel, you're always welcome. So that's some cool stuff. So appreciate it, brother.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. No problem.
Okay. I'll go next because I ain't even got much to say on this one. Facts are some stubborn things, and we're gonna have to just simply learn to pay attention to the facts. Go in the proper way that they direct us. Stop worrying about what everybody got to say about them, what everybody feels about them. If we want something to be better, we're gonna have to do the things that make it better. It's plain and simple. Let's just get the job done. And next time y'all tell me somebody was a sellout who got somebody to put 500 billion on the table, you don't understand the words what the words sell and out mean. You just don't. Plain and simple. 500 billion on the table from a simple meeting. I like those results. Plain and simple.
Oh yeah. And thank you once again to the Roger Report. And check him out Monday through Friday mornings on the Roger Report Live. But of course, some of you already know that because it's the hottest thing going Monday through Friday mornings on social media. That is until I start a morning show. But hey, you know what?
You was telling the truth up to that point. I was with 100%.
Okay. All right, Rael. Anything to say? Final statement.
Peace, Kev. Thanks for having me on. Good chopping it up with y'all brothers. Peace to the chat as well. I'll just say this. Land is very important. Men look out at the environment and look at land in terms of conquering land to set up a base of operations for what they're trying to do in terms of building economic infrastructures and things of that nature. You need resources for that, which means you need money for that. We have to really understand that if we are to really use our productivity at the highest level, the best way to do that is to be around like-minded individuals who understand what the common goal is. You know, the first law of the land is economy. When a squirrel is collecting acorns in the spring and in the summer, the reason why it's doing that is because it's making an economic decision, because it knows that once it gets cold, it ain't gonna be out there trying to find something to eat because it's gonna be too cold. So it spends the spring and summer months collecting food for storage. It's no different with us. It ain't no great societies without economic galvanization amongst the men. That is what we're tasked to do. There are millions of acres of land in the U.S. that are not developed. There are plenty of programs out here we can use to develop those cities like our ancestors did in years before. Much more things we can use at our disposal, where we can set up our own government, our own police departments, our own city council, our own school boards, and really implement the things that we talk about, but might not know how to go about doing it. So, as far as I'm concerned, maybe some of the best times that we are living in as brothers, because you know we're free. We're free to make decisions for ourselves. We don't have to factor in a group. We can be black men first, and there's no sin in that. I assume that every brother that's been up here is an upstanding brother, and anybody that's connected to him, he wants the best for them. So when you're black men first, you know you're for the rest of you're for the rest of the people that's around that black man. He's supporting as well. So that's a positive thing for me. So, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, thank you, brother Rael, for coming by, and just know that, like I was saying with Absalom Bianchi, you are welcome to come by at any time. Appreciate your input, and I'm glad you said that. You know that people, you know, that was on this panel, you sure were upstanding brothers, because here's a fact right here. I do like having good conversations with level-headed brothers, and another fact is I don't necessarily like to see conversations degrade into arguing and name calling and stuff that really just destroys the conversation and destroys any objectivity that we have in these convos. I think the convos, especially within the Habitual Line Stepper Network, are very good conversations, and input from brothers like Absalom Bianchi and Rael, and guys who've been here before like Roger Bill Munger and BGS Ipmore. Those are the guys that make replays, watching these broadcasts again, worth it. And that right there is a fact. Here's another fact, that the Black Manosphere is something that is very useful, and that critically thinking brothers do need to take advantage of. Here's another fact. I am Black and I am proud. And if I didn't feel that way about the people that I talk to and associate with, I would not be associated with them. They are Black and proud as well. But anyway, we have to think in terms of productivity and accepting and dealing with facts so we can move forward. Not so much deal in emotionally based charge, arguments that will set us back. I mean, facts are facts. Facts are indisputable. You can't argue with a fact. I hate to take a page out of the CIA letter to Martin Luther King, but they said one important thing in that letter that is true. No one has ever argued successfully against a fact. And that's all I will say with that. So anyway, next week, one of my episodes, I will be doing sort of a confessional, because for any of you that don't know, there is a Facebook group in existence and it's been in existence for a few years now, called Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone. And it just really it's really it's going to be a fun thing for me because I could just let it all hang out. I'll tell you exactly why I created that group, the purposes and everything. Because if you get it from someone else, it's likely going to be something negative. And really, honestly, I don't care about the negative because there's a thing called perception. What someone may look as negative, another person may look at as positive and productive. And that right there is a fact. So long live the habitual line steppers. This is Kev. Thank you for joining me once again. Roguish the Bill Munger and Zero, thanks for the super chats. Also to the chat and to the panelists, thanks for participating. Rael, Absalon Bianchi, Gerald, Donnie, and Roger, my habitual line stepper brothers. And of course, this is your weekend warrior. So, once again, long live the habitual line steppers. Check out my channel. I will be dropping news stories until my next shot at being your favorite weekend warrior. So with that being said, in Kev we trust. Goodbye.